What a difference a week makes. Hello and welcome to another one of those Tinto Map videos where we're now going to be looking at North Africa, the Maghreb. And yeah, what a difference a week makes. If we can just take a moment and count the amount of different countries that we see on this map. Portugal 1, Castile 2, Grenada 3, Morocco 4, Tlemcen 5, Tunis 6, Tripoli is 7. We've got Sicily up in the north. That's 8. We've got Fezzan here. That's 9. And you just see a little bit of the Mamluks here for 10. 10 countries are visible on the map. What a difference a week makes. Because obviously we had 300 and something crazy. I mean, it was 357 in just the HRE, but obviously we're seeing France and Poland and stuff here. So, 400. Let's just go with a neat 400. 10. Not all things are created equal. But let us get into, obviously, the map post for the Maghreb. And, of course, before we do that, if you would like to stay up to date and informed about everything coming out of Paradox Tinto with their game Project Caesar, EU5, then hit the subscribe button. It helps me out quite a bit. And also, you get to stay informed. And that's a win-win. So, with that out of the way, let us look at Tinto Maps number 13. We will assemble several maps for the shake of it to gather feedback as well. After the nightmarish map of last week, we are showing a much less fragmented region this week, the Maghreb. So, these are the countries. There are 10 of them in this image. In the Maghreb, I guess if we're counting Fezzan, we have got 5 countries. Which is, yeah, so much less. When this is obviously with the wastelands turned off, so mountains and deserts and such, and then they will be filled in if you so desire, if this is what you choose to play with. This is how I like to play. I like to play with my wastelands colored in. That's how you will find my videos when I do Let's Plays and streams of this game when it comes out. If you don't like that, I apologize, but it's just how I like it. So, this week we're showing off 2 versions of the country map, one without coloured wastelands and one with them coloured. Please take into account that some work still needs to be done regarding the colouring of the corridors. Only 4 new countries are to be shown this week, as Fezzan already appeared some weeks ago. First. Okay, first things first. There's dynamic keys for them similar to the Mamluks, so their full name in the game are Marinid Sultanate of Morocco, Zayanid Sultanate of Tlemcen, and Hafsid Sultanate of Tunis. Tripoli starts with a random ruler, as we weren't able to find which was the reigning dynasty in 1337. The main power in this period is the Marinid dynasty, ruling from Fez, after grabbing the power from the Almohads almost a century ago. They started war with the Zayanids of Tlemcen. Interesting. Okay, alright. Yeah, you can actually see that on the map there. I completely missed it. Its capital is close to falling to the mighty Sultan Abu al-Hassan Ali. They also have a foothold in Iberia around Algeciras and Ronda, which may lead to future campaigns around the control of the Strait of Gibraltar. Very cool. I like that quite a bit. I do like the idea of more countries starting the game at war. Said this when we looked at the Lithuania, Poland, Teuton War. I think that's great. More of that would also be great. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some in the HRE at some point. But I do feel like with this situation, are we going... I mean, there's got to be some kind of roadblock, because Tlemcen survived till whatever year it was. Obviously, it lives in 1444. There's something going on here. Maybe that makes Morocco not just snowball in the Maghreb, because this looks like it's going to be a very, very powerful player. We have yet to see what population they have, of course. Maybe this is not as populated as the other areas, but I can imagine here that we're going to see, especially in multiplayer, Morocco being a very popular pick. It looks like they're going to be able to grow quite rapidly. So yeah, let's have a look at the dynasties. Obviously, as we have seen, the Marinids, Zainids, Hafsids, Al Mizratai is the randomized one, and then we've got Tezirbu for Fez. Makes sense. Lovely stuff. They have the three main dynasties of the Maghreb in 1337, I should say. Marinids, Zainids, and the Hafsids. Apart from those, the dynasties of Tripoli and Fezzan are randomly generated because you don't know who's ruling those places at those specific times. The location map mode, including these lovely corridors here. Not much that I would like to point out as being, crazy. I quite like the size of the deserts and mountains. I'm not sure this one, is this a desert or a mountain? I don't know. I'm certain that these are mountains though, especially around here. And yeah, these are mountains that you will be familiar with if you play any amount of Imperator. Or I'm pretty sure these mountains are also in EU4 as well. At least there's a highland province around here in Tunis. But yeah, no, loving that. Loving the corridors and the oasis areas as well. Love that. We have more detailed locations as well. So here we have Morocco, looking quite nice, especially the crossing here. I quite like that very much. It's very granulated. Awesome. We have here Tunis. I think this is going to be a very interesting place to play. Tunis. It was, in my opinion, the most interesting or most fun I've had playing in North Africa. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of tags to choose from, but Tunis, I think, is a lot more fun than Morocco for me in EU4. And yeah, the whole raiding mechanic that they have is definitely interesting to play around with. And I think Morocco gets it too, but Tunis, obviously being closer to the center of the Mediterranean, can raid more things. But yeah, no, it's going to be a fun tag to play, I think. And then we also have some provinces map modes. But here first, you see the corridors connecting the Maghreb with the Saharan inner lands and oases. Regarding the location density, you might want to increase it in a few places. The Sitat location is too big compared to its neighbors, for instance. Sitat, I don't see where that is. Oh yeah, makes sense. That is rather large. I think one thing you need to also I need to point out is the inclusion of characters. It's Latin alphabet with extra stuff. I have no idea how you pronounce the T's with the dots underneath. I think this is actually the first time I've ever seen that. A with a line across the top, also no idea. An I here with a line across the top, not a clue. I am going to call this Arish. It's probably wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. So yeah, we have provinces map mode. That Kazdir looks huge, but most of it is wasteland. I think maybe provinces don't technically need to have wastelands colored in. It might be better if they don't. Unless there's some kind of benefit you're getting from these wastelands towards the province, but I don't know if that's the case. The areas map mode, splitting North Africa here into three parts. Morocco, Tlemcen, Tunis makes sense. But yeah, obviously better names than what I just used. And then Tripoli, and then the surrounding oases is a huge area. The areas of the Maghreb correspond to their historical division. Al-Aqsa, Al-Azwat, Al-Adna, and Tripoli. The northern section of the Sahara is split into two areas, the Western Sahara and the Sahara Oases. Very nice. Culture-wise, this one is going to be interesting for sure. So Moroccan is tiny, just a tiny little culture. I assume they've got quite a bit of minorities though. I think Moroccan here is the orangey brown, so there's a lot of minorities here, and this could even be 49% even. So that's I suppose there is quite a bit. Zenati here and Algerian, so it could be that Zenati and this Sanhaya is a more tribal, tribal kind of culture, and then they are being converted to, Moroccan converted to Algerian, and maybe the same is happening here with the Chaoui and Tunisian. But yeah, looking good there. Definitely, yeah. I think Zenati, especially as it's going down into these oases, maybe that could be the case. But let's have a read. Cultural division of the region is very, very interesting, we think. The first thing we want to stress is that we've divided the most Arabized zones from the more traditionally Berber ones. The more Arabized zones are the Moroccan, Algerian, Tunisian, and Libyan. Meanwhile, the Berber-speaking peoples are divided into Hassaniya, Mazmuda, and Sanhaya in Al-Maghrib al-Aqsa, the Zenati in Al-Maghrib al-Aswat, and the Kabylian Chewi and Mozabite in I'm just going to ignore the start here and just call it like Adna. This is Aqsa, this is Aswat, and this is Adna. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is like all super necessary to add to the start, or whether just calling it Adna is enough. The Maghreb of the Adna, I don't know. Anyway, the Eastern Berber, a name that will probably change given the feedback already received in the Egyptian Tinto Maps in Tripoli. The Berber-speaking Tuareg and the Saharan-speaking Tubu inhabit the central Saharan oases. On to religions. We have most of the religion being Sunni Islam, with a very important zone where Ibadism is the majority, more or less corresponding with the Mozabite and Eastern Berbers. Although it's not shown on the map, there are two religious minorities present, Mustaravi Jews and a bunch of urban centers across the region, and some native Christians spread through Adna. Very cool. Ibadi was a popular religion swap for these countries in EU4 for its trade power. So no idea what kind of benefits you get from being one religion over another. I assume there's going to be something, but we'll see if that is going to be the case here as when we get to the religious dev diaries. Raw materials. Maghreb is very rich in different materials, especially in Morocco, which was used a long time ago as an RGO gameplay testing ground by the QAs. The Saharan corridor is way less productive, but somehow important for the next map. This is proof that they have QAs, and they didn't fire them, and blah 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 blah. All this nonsense that you hear quite frequently. But yeah, have a look here. We've got lots of iron, silver. We've got horses and olives, stone, lots of iron actually, lots, very much, quite a bit. Gold as well, of course. Nice. Dyes in Carthage. Is it called Tunis, the city now as well? I actually have no idea. But Carthage has got dyes. It makes sense to me. I'm a little bit too imperative pilled. Lots of wool as well, legumes. Some more kind of exotic ones as well. Like we've not seen too much in the way of mercury. That seems a lot more rare. Spices and dates as well. That's kind of rare. So maybe that's going to be quite an important area. Markets. We've got mostly in the Sevilla map and the Al Jazair map. Market centers of the region are placed in Fez and Al Jazair, which makes for good market access and distribution for the game start in general terms. You might notice that trading happens across the corridors, which makes for a real connection between the markets to the north and south of Sahara in 1337. It means that we can effectively simulate the trading of Saharan and sub-Saharan goods, salt, alum, gold, and ivory, to the north until maybe some European countries decide to explore down the African coast and make a direct trading in the Gulf of Guinea, avoiding the Maghrebi intermediaries. Wait a minute. No, this isn't the Fez. No, this is just Sevilla being like all up in their face, but Fez is definitely there. It kind of reminds me of the bird meme. The little sparrow or whatever it is, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm in the Fez node." And then big pigeon energy with Sevilla. Yeah, cool. Populations, though, we have 2.2 million for the Moroccans, 1 million for Tlemcen, and 2 million for Tunis, with Tripoli being somewhat irrelevant in comparison. Yeah, these... Well, if you add all that up, it's, 5.5 million across the four, roughly. So... definitely something to compare to the the Iberians, in basically everyone but the Mamluks. Decent population for sure. The population of the region around 5.5 million. I swear I counted this in my head before I read this. Though I have a tendency to get maths wrong, so maybe that's not that believable. Who knows? Interesting distribution. Axa and Adna have more or less similar population, with Aswat being having half of them, and Tripoli and Saharan OACs being way less populated. So detailed population maps are here as well. Some standouts. I think 40,000 here is Fez itself. Maybe not. Maybe it could be somewhere else. The 90,000 here, I'm not sure what that one is. That would be... Oh, that's Sitat, which is going to be broken up anyway, so... Yeah, makes sense that that would be split up a little bit. But yeah, looking good. And then in Tunis, 0 people. In the desert, 0. Absolutely 0. 60,000, 73,000 in the Carthage area. Very nice. And I think that is all of the maps that we have for you this week. Kind of a short one, but when you think we have 4 countries to look at, as opposed to 300, it kind of makes sense that it'd be a little bit less time to go through it. But honestly, I like it. I am very much looking forward to playing Tunis. Of these, again, I think Tunis will be the most interesting. Maybe that is just my bias that I have for Tunis from playing it in EU4, where I found it the most fun. But it does look quite a lot of fun here as well. Maybe you can roach upon this Moroccan-Tlemceni war and take your own chunk out of it to make sure Morocco doesn't get too far ahead of you. Take over Tripoli as well. Trading over here is going to be very nice as well, I think. Especially being close to Italy and the riches there. Maybe you can trade with them. But yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be a fun playthrough. So let me know what you guys think. Are you going to be, playing as Morocco, getting that early war against Tlemcen and trying to dominate the region? Are you going to play as Tunis like me, try and do a little more of a trade playthrough? Are you going to play as Tripoli because you like playing the weakest person in an area? Or are you going to play as Tlemcen because you like a challenge? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you all on Sunday for all of the responses from the Dev Diaries. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.